For anyone who loves cars, this museum is a must-see.
My name is Blake Godby. My father is Martin Godby. My father's been doing classic cars, buying and selling. He started his dealership over 35 years ago. We've collected cars, had thousands of cars go through the dealership. We take a lot of pride in finding unique, best examples, things of the nature like that, or just providing help to our clientele. Second oldest car museum in the country.
The second oldest?
Yep.
Where's the oldest?
Henry Ford Museum. Just a family business. We've owned it for 25 years. Just try to preserve it. Museums are not a very profitable business, but as a family, we've tried as hard as we possibly can to preserve the history of our town, but also trying to keep our infrastructure and everything like that nice. We store the Revolta family right behind you, their private collection. And then we have a Porsche collection. We have some of our cars, the Ringling Museum. We actually own John and Mabel Ringling's vehicles. This is John Ringling's primary car, his Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. This car has gone more places than most people have ever, and it was just the car. It was involved in the train car that was brought all over the world, basically. It's been on boats everywhere, all across the world. This car is extremely important to Sarasota's history and circus history, because you can imagine some of the wealthiest and John Ringling being one of the wealthiest people in the world at that point. Yeah, I spent 3.5 years restoring this car. I have every detail down to the leather-wrapped springs on the side over here. I spent a ton of time doing so.
How many cars do you think you have in all?
In the entire 54,000 square foot building, we have 160 cars.
Cool.
In the museum, they're about 95, 100. This is the Eso Revolta Burrito. This is the only one ever made. It's got 351 Ford V8 in it, totally custom made. I think a very good job, Italian design. Obviously, the Revolta family did it. As you can see here as their emblem, which is very cool. And they are making a somewhat modern recreation of this right now, actually.
I bet this is worth a fortune.
It's never been sold, so we have no idea what it's worth. And as you can see, it costs new prototype. So, never sold. Yep, some of them are on loan, yes.
But others you purchased? Or?
Yeah, purchased, or they've been donated nicely by some very generous people over the years. We try to keep them, we drive them around. About 70 to 80% of all the cars in the museum are running and driving.
Nice.
Which is very difficult.
Yeah.
But a part of it is my mother was very into cars as well. Still is. Myself, I've worked for a few collector car auction companies over the years. I do the restorations, the upkeep, and buying and selling of them as well.
So pick out one car you want to tell me about its history.
We can start with the shot here. Interesting car, just in the sense that it's been half restored and half original.
Does it run?
No, it does not. I've never tried to mess with it or anything like that, but it is, I believe, there are less than 5 remaining, and this car is the only half original example.
Wow, look how old those wheels are.
Yep. Yeah, it's basically the borderline horseless carriage. As you can see, the front is where they would have had a wall where the horses would have been hooked up to, but now it is a radiator.
Ah.
So that's...
Did it ever have a motor?
It does have an engine in it. It's still in there.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
in the back.
Yep. It's So it is a Austin Healey 3000 BJ7 roll-up windows. It was donated by a generous person on the other coast of Florida. We preserve it now. We drive it often. It has wider wheels for touring and stability. Original type black with white piping interior. Just a good little car to sport about. So it's a Victoria convertible. It's electric. So this is it's electric car. And if you notice that it is like a patent sort of leather fenders. So, which is very pretty.
That's interesting.
A very pretty car. If you notice, you sit in the seat, you face each other. It's basically like a small motorcycle engine with 3 wheels. It has 3 wheels. This is the Grateful Dead's pickup truck, known as the Dread because it was, well, dreadful to drive. But that is its form. And it does say on the dashboard, it says no driving while driving. That is exactly how it was. It's aged over its life. But if you can imagine a bunch of, you know, stoned out, tripping LSD hippies, that is who drew all over the car. And if you get closer, you can kind of see that. And I find that to be very cool that it has lived this long. I preserved the original seat, and this was used to bring around their band equipment. But as I mentioned, it was called the Dread because it was dreadful to drive. But it's wild, and that's why we love it. My father, his main focus is trying to find very odd cars in the classic car world. So Fossil Vega, Delahaye, such as the Grateful Dead pickup truck. You know, there's no rhyme or reason for any of it. We just buy what we like. And I feel that with anything in life, if you buy what you like, other people feel it's more genuine. So we try to keep it that way.
Who gave you the
History Channel.
The History Channel.
Yes. '34 Delahaye Type 134. Absolutely stunning car. The fastest way you want to tell a Cobra is if you're talking to a guy and you ask him what his chassis code is and he doesn't say this, that means his Cobra's fake. Very loud, proud, racing machine. Sponsored by McDonald's, Reese's. I put the Pizza Hut delivery sign on there because I thought it was entertaining. That was the Charlie's Angels race car. I said this car almost hit 160 miles an hour. I mean, this is a Cross Ram V8 in this large tank. I mean, it's like almost 19 feet long, or it is 19 feet long. So it's very impressive that it went that fast for how large it is. And they only continue to go faster and faster. But at this time in 1960, being a 300F, it's just an over-the-top sort of position it was in. But most museums in America do not start their cars. They don't let people get close to them. As you saw in your video, you got close to them. Got to pretty much walk right up to the door and take a peek, talk to them, my docents, do a very good job of trying to let you get closer to the car while keeping the car safe, letting other people really touch it, because modern cars today are very soft, dull. There's really no personality. That's why we like to try to preserve that sort of way of life. I mean, a 60s Chrysler over there, look, I mean, fins on a 59 Cadillac. They don't have that anymore. They never will have that again. And they're a lot more impactful and hilarious. I mean, you just want to smile when you see it. You don't smile when you look at your Corolla. So why would you not want to? Why would you not want to hear it? I mean, let's be real here. So that's the difference between our museum and that. I wish I could have started up. My mechanics are not around today, so I like to be there when there's a bunch of us. But most of the time, at least once or twice a week, we come here, I fire them up, and you get, there'll be a group of people, they'll come and they'll hear the cars run and drive, and you'll see me driving them up front and all that. So that's something that we do at least once or twice a week here.